In a dark room, a woman trembles and cries as she calls for help. She tries using her phone to no avail. There are weird noises in the dark that suddenly drag her away. At a Cancun resort, two American couples are vacationing together. Amy realizes that her earring is missing, but luckily a German tourist named Matthias finds it at the bottom of the pool and returns it to her. The group invites him to drink to thank him, and they learn that Matthias came to Mexico to look for his brother, who was last seen with his archaeologist girlfriend at a dig site. The place is very mysterious and doesn't appear in any guidebooks. The group is curious, so Matthias invites them to come with him tomorrow. That night Amy gets drunk while her boyfriend isn't around and almost kisses Matthias, but her best friend Stacy stops her just in time. The next morning Amy has a terrible hangover and doesn't want to leave the room. However, her boyfriend Jeff convinces her to come. Matthias and his best friend Dimitri make a copy of the map his brother used and leave it behind for some friends of theirs. Moments later the group makes it downtown, but their hired guides don't show up and won't answer the phone. They have no choice but to take a cab and hike the rest of the way. The cab driver has a truck with a big dog that startles the group, and when he sees the map, he refuses to take them there, but he changes his mind when they offer him extra money. The cab drops them at the edge of the jungle and leaves. The group wonders how they'll get back, but it looks like Matthias' phone is working and he got the driver's card. Stuck in the bushes, they find a jeep belonging to Matthias' brother, which he finds strange. Following the map, they start crossing the jungle and stop at a pond to freshen up. They notice some Mayan natives looking at them from afar and try talking to them, but the kids won't react. At that moment Matthias moves some leaves and branches and finds their next path. Amy thinks it's suspicious that the path is hidden, but Jeff just blames it on archaeologists hiding their findings and forces her to keep going. After walking for a while, the group finally finds the ancient ruins and is amazed by the sight. Amy takes some pictures and Matthias notices his brother's tent on top of the building. Suddenly a Mayan appears on a horse and yells at them in his language. The horse is scared and refuses to come closer. Jeff thinks he wants money and tries to give him some, but the man turns it down. After two more guys show up, Matthias shows them a picture of his brother on his phone, and the men grab it to take a closer look. However, they lose their minds when Amy steps back on the plants to take a picture of them, even threatening to open fire. Thinking they don't like photos, Dimitri walks on the plants to get the camera, and the men go even crazier. When he tries to hand the camera over as an apology, the Mayans shoot an arrow at his chest and shoot him in the face. The group immediately panics and rushes up the stairs to escape from the furious men. They can see more Mayans coming to surround the ruins, yet they don't follow them. On top of the ruins they find the archaeologists' camp, but not a single person in sight. Nobody has a signal on their phones, and Matthias' working phone is still in the hands of the natives. There's a deep shaft in the middle of the summit but no safe way down. Matthias keeps calling his brother's name until he notices a pair of feet in the bushes. He rushes to break the plant and is devastated to find the body of his dead brother. Jeff watches the natives around the ruins and notices more people are coming, not to mention they're setting up camps. When Matthias finally pulls away from the plants, he has to wash his hands because he's having an allergic reaction. The group discusses what to do, since obviously the Mayans won't let them leave. Jeff thinks they should just wait for rescue since the hotel will call the police when they don't return, and Dimitri's friends should be on their way too. At that moment they hear a phone ringing and realize it's coming from the bottom of the shaft. Matthias grabs a lantern and ties some rope around his body so the others can carefully lower him into the shaft. Unfortunately, after just a few seconds, the rope breaks and Matthias falls into the darkness. They hear the lantern break and Matthias' painful groan. The boys get more rope ready and tie it around Stacy, who grabs another lantern. As they lower her down, she notices the plants covering every wall. The rope suddenly stops and the guys tell her that's as low as it'll go, but she hasn't reached the bottom yet. When she looks down she can see Matthias, who asks for help. Thinking the remaining distance isn't too much, Stacy unhooks the rope and jumps. When she lands, glass shards end up stuck in her knee. While she carefully removes the shards, Matthias tells her that he can't move his legs. Stacy yells to the group to tell them that Matthias may have broken his back and it smells like poop. The boys think they should lower a makeshift stretcher to rescue their friends, but Amy says someone with a broken back shouldn't be moved. She rushes down the stairs and tries to ask the Mayans for help, but they just keep pointing their weapons at her. Jeff tries to stop her, and in the struggle, she falls on the plants, causing the Mayans to yell at her. This makes her angry, so she throws some of the vines at them. Most of the natives dodge it in fear, but the plant manages to hit a child. An argument ensues between the adults and the kid, who ends up being shot. As the mother watches without moving and Amy cries in horror, Jeff takes her back to the top. The group discusses what happened while building a stretcher and realizes the locals are afraid of the vine. That's why they shot Dimitri and the kid, and why they won't let them leave. They've already touched the plant. In the shaft, Stacy hears the phone and tries to find it, but the sound comes from the vines, which appear to be moving. She decides not to touch them. Once the stretcher is done, the guys lower Amy down. The rope length doesn't let the stretcher touch ground, so the girls have to pick up Matthias. His body bends when they do so and the pain is unbearable, but at least they get him on the stretcher and tie him up. Then the boys take him back to the top, and the girls are soon brought back too. Since Jeff is a pre-med student, he looks at Matthias' wounds and concludes he shouldn't be moved. They search the bags for medicine and Amy finds the Jeep's keys. Jeff finds Dimitri's plane ticket for tomorrow morning and is sure someone will come looking for him when he doesn't show up. Stacy's boyfriend Eric manages to charge up a lamp and Jeff covers Matthias with blankets so he can sleep through the cold night. He's worried that he may die from an infection in his legs. Amy bandages Stacy's injury while she cries because she feels guilty about making Matthias' pain worse. After confirming that the Mayans are still waiting around the ruins, the group goes to sleep in the tent. Amy is annoyed because she has to hear Stacy and Eric getting naughty next to her. The next morning, Jeff relieves himself on the vines and is startled to find a skeleton. When Stacy wakes up, she panics because the vines are wrapped around her leg. Eric helps her take them off and they're shocked to discover the plant is growing inside her injury, so Eric starts pulling it out while Stacy swears she can feel it moving. He realizes that their plant's pollen is on their clothes and the vines may be growing inside them. Meanwhile, Matthias says something is wrong and Amy checks on him. When she removes the blankets, she finds the vine wrapped around both his legs. Jeff rushes to help Amy remove the plants, but now his legs have too many wounds to clean them all. At that moment the phone in the shaft starts ringing, so Amy and Stacy go down with some torches. The ringing is coming from a tunnel, thus they have no choice but to step on the plant to move ahead. Inside the tunnel they find one of the archaeologists stuck in the vines and when they turn her around, they discover she's dead. The phone is in her hand so the girls quickly grab it, only to notice it's broken. The ringing starts again and Amy takes a closer look to find the flowers vibrating and imitating the sound. She tries touching them and the vines immediately grab her wrist, but she manages to pull her arm free. The plants start shaking all over the walls, pushing out another body before stealing one of the torches. The girls run as fast as possible through the tunnel as the vines close around them, trying to capture them. Amy makes it out but Stacy's legs are grabbed and she's knocked down. The plants try to take her away, however Amy comes back to pull Stacy by the arms and save her. The duo rushes to get on the rope and yell until the boys start pulling them up. Then the vines on the wall try to reach for them as they go up, but luckily the girls reach the top before they can be grabbed again. The group discusses what happened and argues about what to do next. Eric wants to leave and find help, but Jeff reminds him that the Mayans will shoot whoever tries to step out of the ruins. He's sure somebody will come looking for them and they just need to survive until then. Afterward they ration the food and water, taking just one bite. Jeff shares the water with Matthias and notices he's getting worse, so he informs the others that for him to survive they must cut his legs off to stop the infection. Another argument ensues but Matthias interrupts them by asking them to do it. While the girls wait in the tent, Jeff makes Matthias drink some alcohol and puts a belt in his mouth to bite on. Eric holds Matthias' legs down and Jeff heats a rock, which he uses to break Matthias' legs before cutting them off with a small knife. Matthias can't stop screaming and Eric has to move to hold down his upper body. Then Jeff cauterizes the stumps with a heated iron pan. Hearing all the screaming, the girls come out and yell at Jeff since he had promised the procedure wouldn't be so bad. At that moment the vines take the legs away to feed, confirming that the plant is a carnivore. That night Jeff goes down the stairs again, but the natives are still guarding the area. Stacy keeps crying in the tent while Amy and Eric chat outside. Amy ends up having a breakdown and rests her head on Eric's shoulder as he comforts her. Hearing Amy's groans, Stacy comes out and completely misunderstands the situation. Yet another new argument begins and when Jeff joins them, Stacy tells him that Amy cheated on him before. Since everyone is distracted, they don't see the vines approaching Matthias to enter his mouth and choke him to death. By the time Jeff finally notices and tries to take the plants out, it's too late. Stacy panics, thinking the vines are inside of her and will kill her too. She grabs a knife to show them but Eric stops her before she does something dumb. However, she keeps shouting in frustration and pushing Eric away. Suddenly they hear a noise and realize the flowers are repeating what Stacy said, even copying her tone of voice. The next morning, Jeff and Amy see that the Mayans are salting the soil around the ruins to keep the vines contained. Jeff concludes the plant is very old because not even the animals come close. At that moment Eric comes out of the tent and asks his friends to check on Stacy. It turns out she has a vine moving under her skin and she wants it out. Jeff pours some alcohol on her leg and makes a cut before inserting his fingers to pull out the vine. Stacy screams in agony but tells him to keep going, so Jeff repeats the process on her back, where he pulls out several more vines. Once the wounds are closed, the group eats the last food. Stacy is paranoid and thinks there's still something under her skin, so they have to stop her from doing more cutting. Amy passes her the bottle and when Stacy drinks, the others notice a vine inside her forehead. She sees their reaction and has a breakdown without them needing to say anything. Eric thinks nobody will come for them so he announces that he'll leave tonight. Later while everyone is napping, Stacy hears a noise and leaves the tent. After getting the knife, she hears the flowers copying her voice again, quoting her wish to cut the vines out over and over. Seconds later, the others come out and find Stacy with multiple wounds on her body standing in a pool of her own blood. She's clearly gone crazy and can't stop cutting. When Jeff tries to stop her, she attacks him with the knife and cuts his hand. Then Eric tries to stop her too and Stacy snaps, accidentally stabbing him in the chest. Eric immediately collapses and dies, so Stacy also falls and has a breakdown. Soon the vines grab the body by the legs and drag it away. Stacy can't deal with the pain anymore and asks for mercy. Amy refuses to kill her, so Jeff takes the knife from the body and does it himself. Afterward Jeff covers Amy's skin with blood and hands her the keys, telling her not to stop running no matter what happens. He picks her up and goes downstairs to put her down on the ground, pretending she's dead and his kiss is a goodbye. Then Jeff starts walking and talking to the natives, keeping their attention on him. Suddenly he steps forward and yells Amy's name, so she runs away while the Mayans shoot him down. While the vines get Jeff's body, the Mayan leader shoots him in the head to put him out of his misery. The rest of the natives start chasing after Amy, who is crossing the jungle as fast as possible. She trips and falls a few times, and arrows keep hitting the trees around her. Luckily Amy manages to keep moving and finds the jeep again. The keys work and she immediately takes off, but her happiness doesn't last long because she realizes there's a vine in her face. The next day, Dimitri's friends arrive at the ruins looking for him.